be on top. You're over there. I'm over here. I'm in the channel of the flow. I do the flow, and now look at where we are now. We're on this other road. Here we're going to be on the other road, talking about the synchronicity. We just talked about all the synchronicity and all the different things. What do I have to try to repeat myself to bring that back to sequence? We'll never catch that. That was perfect, completely perfect. That we didn't catch it, but we'll never ever catch it. And if I start to notice that you're not catching things that I wish to be caught, then I'm just going to do it myself, I guess. I mean, it's not a big deal. I guess I could do it myself. Maybe that's what is motivating me. There's agitations that motivate us into motion, into movement. And these agitations don't motivate you into higher rates of motion. I've told you a million times now. You say, you've only told me a few times. Well, for me, it's a million times. I'm very amazingly aware, and I refine myself very quickly. If I start to see that there's a path that's slowing me down, then I immediately start to do the other thing that's not going to make me slow down. I'm like, okay, I've been slowed down enough. Now we're going to speed up. We're going to do the things that we need in order to speed up. And so that's a big deal. And it's not a big deal, whatever's going on, it's just like, okay, well, if I need to be on top of this, it's just kind of more difficult for me to do that because I'm channeling it through, And channeling it through can be much more difficult, in a sense, just to move away from the channel, to go this way, to go that way. I guess I can do it though, I am actually able to do it. I'll just have to describe what I'm doing the whole time that I'm doing it in order for me to be able to do it, And here we are with the channel in this flow. We had to come into this conversation from the place in which we came into conversation because you decided to ask if it was okay. Now here we are going. It's like, oh well, I had an opinion about if it was okay or not. It turns out that we could have videotaped the thing with the man because earlier on the videotape, we're recording. I don't even know anymore. Are we recording? Okay, good. We're recording. But that man that was in the street. It's not like you're gonna tell anybody about it. You don't have an open person to tell about it. And I don't go around just telling people everything about anything in order to boast about myself. But if we catch these things on camera, now people can see what's going on. They're able to get the teaching in the moment. Now we start to have somebody else come up and yell at us now. And goodness gracious, if we want them to catch it. I told them, hey, we'll probably have that happen, in the flow now that we've been talking about those kinds of things. So you can see the kind of thing that occurs, the transmutation of energy, how you can relax in the authenticity of the moment. I did the entire thing, the entire thing just there. I stayed in the trust of the moment. I stayed in the authenticity of the moment. I did not. At any point, give him heed to his ego. I was completely kind of considerate to who he is, but not to this fake and illusory story. And I never once even said that it was true. I never even said, oh yeah, true story, no problem. Oh. And I told him it wasn't true. I told him it was a complete illusory reality. We went into all these different things, but all kinds of honoring and all kinds of placements and all kind of honoring of myself constantly was occurring. I mean, in order to speak to that man, you had to speak at the same time that he was talking. Can anybody do that? That's a really difficult thing. But you're matching the frequency. You're not overpowering the frequency, but you're also not becoming weak into the frequency. So there's all kinds of things that we got this on camera. They're like, okay, see, this is what's happening here. This is what's happening there. This is when, he tried to see if he could get in front, but he couldn't get in front. I moved to the side. I made sure they could not get in the front. Kind of like you see dogs. They look at each other eye to eye, and they're trying to see, like, who can get in front, who can get in front, who can get in front. If nobody takes the dominant position, the dogs will come upon each other. They don't do it, they just look at each other. No dominant position, no dominant, even close. No dominant, no dominant, no dominant, no. That's kind of what it's like with people in this kind of weird whirlpool United ways, They're looking this way. If you turn to a clench, you kind of back down, this thing can come over, But instead of doing that, you just match the frequency constantly, always canceling the wave. You always cancel the wave. It's easy. It's harmonization. It happens naturally just by looking at something. And so, yeah, these were really wonderful things. I wish I would have been caught on camera. Yeah, there was a whole journey there. Like the whole journey, if you were able to keep up with me. But you're not able to keep up with me. Maybe we should find some way to put a camera attached to me. Because I can keep up with me, no problem, obviously. Here I am, being me. But we'll learn as we go. We're getting strong. But yeah, there's a lot of synchronicities, a lot of number patterns, a lot of things that could have been discussed during that process because we're showing people the entire day. We're showing people how everything constantly unfolds. It doesn't just unfold this day, it unfolds every day. We can trust that we can tape every moment of the day and it's definitely going to unfold some kind of amazing wisdom because that's all the thing that's ever happening. So it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. And the beautiful baby, yeah, very gorgeous. And so it's a wonderful thing. So yeah, we just gotta miss this. We had this amazing reflection. Immediate come. This was one guy just out of nowhere. He's just yelling at me as I'm walking up the street. We just left the spot where we were sleeping. This guy's yelling in my direction at me, actually. I was trying to figure out, like, are you yelling at the tree or are you yelling at me? No, I am yelling at you. I am mad at you, and all these different things. We went through all this stuff. I never identified with the character in which he was projecting me to be. I never was the character in his story, and every time I told him that, he said, yeah, oh yeah, obviously that is the truth. Because I was speaking it as the truth. I wasn't saying some kind of lie with the truth of like, you're a piece of shit, how dare you? None of that stuff. I was telling him what, yes, actually accurately he was doing, because he was doing it directly right to me in that moment. So he couldn't deny that he'd done that to me in the moment. I was there expressing it. I was there feeling that. I was there present with that. He was there seeing that I was doing that. And so all kinds of different things. You've been my enemy. No, I've not been your enemy. I don't even know who you are. I just met you. We went through all of these different things, and we keep on going until finally we get to the very ending conclusion, which was the giving of the wisdom of non-action. The whole time was plenty of wisdoms, just stated through the authentic awareness of what was actually here occurring. And so every time you tell somebody what's actually occurring, not what is falsely occurring, but what you are just simply observing occurring, and you can hit that place of neutrality where you are free from duality, where you are no longer in attack and defense, then you can find an amazing, phenomenal, effortless wisdom just there present within the now moment, within the flow. And so you don't have to go from this way or that way and surrender your authenticity. You can move from any way. We started out this video in some kind of weird way. You should have heard how beautiful the flow was going, and then it went to that place. But if it not got to that place, well, we would have went to a place of inauthentic harmony. We would have been in some kind of weird dissonance where not all of us was here fully accepted, and now the voice wasn't strong. We have to allow everything to come into its own possible balance, to allow itself to really truly be. We allow ourselves to be. We allow every frequency to come into the tuning of this authentic reality. The most amazing musical melody to ever have happened within the symphony of life. A phenomenal place. The angel numbers completely surrounding us, showing us where we're going, that the abundance is constantly flowing. As I came into the place of like understanding, yeah, man, get in that house. Also came into the place of like, I don't even care. There we are now. Doesn't matter. Completely well sustained, 100% feeling great. All of these angel numbers surrounding me, all these amazing things, these phenomenal blessings. There was an angel number that was going on, and while we were talking to this man, while we were clearing and transmuting the energy, there was all these amazing angel numbers keeping me in there. It was like, okay, don't doubt, bro, you got this, don't doubt, you got this. Plenty of times I wanted to leave that fellow. I was like, oh, where the heck is this possibly going? And all it said was, keep being strong, keep surrender, keep saying, listen, say. So I stayed in the channel. It leaves with this man bowing his head and saying, thank you, But every time he wanted more wisdom, more stuff kicked up in him. So now we match again. So far I'm not saying completely illusory things. I'm saying my authentic observation with great impeccability. I'm giving truth and wisdom and non-action. I'm being for him constantly. I love you, my brother. We do all these different things. We can go here, we can go there. We can be tall, we can be small. We can say all these amazing things. We can fall, we can rise together. He started to bring her into the projection. He started to bring me into projection. Either way, it's simple. No, that's not true. This is what's true. No, that's not true. This is what's true. No, that's not true. This is what's true. No. What I see you doing is this. This is what's happening for sure right now. I'm positive of it. I'm positive you are leading yourself into false realities. And you've been doing it for many years. Whatever it is. You tell them authentic. You tell them with impeccability. Maybe you're wrong, but that's the way you perceive. You say that that's the way you perceive. You don't have to put yourself in an absolute reality that creates you to have to fight with some kind of mentality to defend something that you're saying that you're absolutely structured on. You speak in the moment with Mad Lib or Ad Lib. You just constantly go, find nice, quick, smooth, spontaneous, easy. So that was amazing. There was a flow that come up that was pretty amazing. The walking flow. The flow after the walking flow, we get to the stoplight and I'm all upset. I'm like, why are you slowing me down? Come on, we gotta go. She's all super upset. Then now we're both super upset. It's all this terrible upsetness. We go across the street. We don't stop being upset. No. We clear the upsetness out. She don't know what's happening all the way, but sometimes she figures it out. She figures it out after. In the middle of it, it's more tough. For me, that was that way too. But afterwards, it feels real good. We just get to express, we get to move energy that was unable to be moved, and that because we got to move that energy, we feel a little more confident expressing ourselves limitlessly in a more full manner, and it's just a constant process of amazingness constantly occurring just through the expression of each and every one of these frequencies singularly or together, the amazing uniting of the wisdom through what is effortless expression, just super phenomenal, really wonderful. And so even though, yes, we missed some things, and
That was the exact expression in the chord shape and consciousness in which I was presenting to you this morning, so it would have been really poetically true. And now all you have is my view of telling you that that was the case. And so I really want proof that this is the case. So that's the reason why I want the video. And I really want a videographer that can be on point with me. You say I'm way on point. So if we meet like 20 videographers, if anybody out there is watching, that'd be fine. Whatever it is, apparently it can be very difficult to learn and grow at the same time, but also be on point with it, not figuring out. But that's the reason we say these things in the way that we say these things, because we bring a level of seriousness to the flow. People think it's all relaxed. They don't care. It's not relaxed for me. You think that it's relaxed. Yeah, I sit in effortless wisdom, great. But here I am 100% aware of all the things around me and conducting myself in a way of great fluidity, sensing all the energies and making sure I ride the effortless expression in the center of it and how it's actually shaped with this amazing thing that's not a perfect sphere in the way in which energy is occurring with itself all the time. No, it's a weird, crazy conglomeration of chord shapes that's matching this body and the breath and all these different ways, but molding, moving. People act like, oh, yeah, Ryan wants me to start the camera. It's like, well, you can start the camera just because, we're channeling something through. I don't have an ability to start the camera right now. If I do start the camera, it's going to change the flow, and I kind of like this line. I'm trying to catch this line right now. But okay, we changed the flow. We'll go to this line. Now, where is that line taking us? It's taking us to different places within the line, but we have a little bit more tenseness now. There's a little bit more frustration. There's all kinds of energy. Right now, I'm giving you guys a teaching, we're giving her a teaching. So she's sitting here ducking, and she feels all kinds of different ways about this. So now I feel all kinds of different ways about this too. So now here we are connected in harmony, feeling these kinds of ways. Why do I have to feel these ways while she feels these ways? Because this is the block and the dissonance. This is the thing that's stopping us from being able to be limitless. And so what do I have to do if I'm actually contacting somebody in this kind of a manner and they're honing in this kind of a way? Well, I immediately start to feel the energy and move it through me. We'll feel it together. If they don't want to express it, that's fine. I'll express it. If I get tired of expressing somebody's flow because it takes forever and I'm tired of slowing down to do their healing work for them, then I stop and I go away from them. That's what I do. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. This is no longer beneficial for me. We're no longer in symbiosis. If you're going to make my life easier, then awesome. But if I'm going to be making your life easier through feeling these energies, then awesome. But if we're not going to be able to do that together in a way that actually makes sense for the acceleration of our lives, then awesome. No problem. We just do whatever it is that we can do. And so, there's a lot of agitation necessary because people just get a nice sustained comfortability. They're like, oh, I feel safe. I'll just continue in my hiding and I'll never grow. But you got to grow, as it turns out. You got to grow. If you're going to be around me, you got to grow. If you don't like to grow, that's no problem. You can just go out and be slow somewhere else away from me. But if you want to be growing, you'll be growing with me. And you go fast and you be on point. And you not think about things like, oh, who's doing greater or lesser things here? It's like, well, actually, I'm an eternal movie. I only do the one thing. We could sit here all day. I'd only do this. I'd hurt my body because I'd be so dedicated to the channel. I need something to be with me, providing some kind of help in this kind of a way. If they're not able to be on point with it against the channel, then I don't know what to do. We're going to have to find somebody else. It's not like I would ever turn them away, but we just have to find somebody who can do that thing if that's not the thing in which they're wanting to do. And for me, it would make more sense for the person that can actually handle the frequency constantly to be able to do that because, there they are, able to do it. But yeah, maybe there's somebody else who can handle the flow of consciousness. Somebody who's meek and humble, doesn't want to, arrogantly control. If that's the case, then awesome. And if they want to control, they just go control their own flow. I don't know, that's no problem. But for me, I need these things. I need these things on point. They need to be on top of stuff. Like we're here on this job. People don't think that they're on the job. They think I'm just sitting around doing nothing. They act like I'm a lazy no-good. As it turns out, I'm sitting here feeling energy constantly, and I'm moving energy through me in the most amazing way possibly. I'm very well into it. I feel all of these different things. I'm transmuting energies. That's why I do like to take my little breaks in unsustainable places because I'm here constantly working. Even there, I'm constantly working. I do not do that. So anything that wants to be around, we're going to have to do that together. We're going to have to do that in a good way. We're going to have to really make sure that we sustain and that we refine and that we bring ourselves to a place of equanimity. Where we're giving and receiving quite equally. I'd say this could never not be. So it's no issue and no problem, no pain, no sin. There's a lot of different things going on in the world today. A lot of transmutations of energy. Somebody looks at me and judges me and now I have to feel the judgment of their energy. I got to move it through my body. How do you do that? Well, when you're like me, you move it through radical self-expression. It's easy. The moment something hits you with a frequency, you return to that frequency and you give it to that frequency back or you give it wherever it is. However it is, somebody smiles at you, you smile. You know, somebody cries at you, you start to cry. You know, somebody gets mad at you, you start to feel whatever that makes you do. Maybe you get mad at you. You're like, hey, why am I mad at me right now? Who knows? It depends on the identification with energy. Sometimes you can feel energy, and it doesn't mean that you have to be the energy. You know, usually I don't get mad at me if something's mad at me, but I can feel madness. You know, and I just move that stuff through expression. Woof. You know, there's a lot of ways to do this. And, yeah, it's a really amazing, beautiful benefit to be sitting here within the perfection of all that is, to be able to see these things in such amazing grace, to see these things in such phenomenal wisdoms, to be here present in these ways, you know. And so I guess this little teaching, this little flow so far, you know, we had this nice heated discussion about the guitar, no, about the way we see far, no, about this amazing video stream and kind of a little agitating seriousness to the energy. But you know, sometimes we say something so soft a million times that nobody understands how serious we are about it, but it turns out we're really serious. It may seem like it's all soft and relaxed all the time because we went through Mercury retrograde, it was all fun and play, but as it turns out, I am a very serious and disciplined practitioner, and that my energy, when it gets rising, it has no need for any of those other types of timing. You know, it feels very strong, it feels very good, it feels very much like constantly pumping out the energy. It's the channel alone that sustains it, it's the giving that is its receiving. And so its receiving then is awesome giving. Because all it's ever going to do is give with that stuff, you know, give with that wisdom, give with that spirit, give with that feeling. So it's wonderful to be able to do this, you know, it's wonderful to be able to move through. When somebody's focused directly on me, when they're looking right at me and they're feeling a certain way, I can feel that energy immediately. I can feel that move through my body. I have nothing going on in me, so there's no noise exactly except from what's happening to me and what's happening for me around me. Something focuses on me in a really distinct and articulated way, something very specific, then I can feel that. I have the ability to move it through me. I have the ability to do anything with that energy, fight against it, however it is. I will not fight against it. It is not intelligent to use force in that kind of way against myself. Once you understand non-duality, everything is yourself. You know, you don't have any reason to be harming any part of yourself. Sometimes we distinguish certain things to be harmed and certain things to be not harmed. You know, we distinguish this or that or the other. But as it turns out, you know, there's not a single thing actually here to harm. So we may want to cause less harm because somebody takes the frequency this way or that way, wrong or right or whatever it is. But that frequency is completely necessary for your being, you know, for that being, for our being, whatever it is. But I just remain my own self, always staying confident in being authentic and trusting that we can move through it, you know, whatever it is. That impeccability will lead the way, and that I don't hold on to anything so rigidly as to not be able to move with fluidity in a way of versatility, malleability, and able to form myself formlessly with the moment, to be able to constantly humble and harmonize and move and bring together amazing teaching, you know, amazing flow. This thing that happened with this man was such great utter beauty, and everything that's happened since then, and everything that's happened to ever before that. All of the greatest beauty in the world always. In every way. Equanimity in all beings. And there's a way to see this really easily. It can be much more difficult looking through lenses of judgment, and this was a big deal for this man, you know, moving through a lens of judgment, being able to release his judgment, be able to see all kinds of different things. He was talking about stories that were from 10 years ago and constantly repeating in his reality over and over every day, and this clear distinction I cannot say exactly what specifically created it to be. But I can know the way in which he must go into his own soul and help himself become self-sustainable through love and understanding, kindness and forgiveness, you know, to align different things in which he brought his focus through his radical self-expression. People would think that he was just yelling at anybody. He wasn't just yelling at somebody. He was wishing for wisdom. He was wishing for help. He was wishing for guidance. The man was in a terrible place without silence. You know, he was constantly bombarded, torturous by frequencies for many days, you know, very frequently, you know, and people don't know what it means to be tortured, you know, how terrible it can be on the mind to have a story repeat itself over and over again, especially if you believe the story to be true and feel as if it's bombarding you. A lot of people like that need a great amount of compassion and understanding, patience, and a willingness to be able to work through them. Not sustaining their lie or turning away from it in fear of them, but treating them like they are themselves, really be like, oh shoot, what would I do for this part of myself? I had a friend, Robert, come to me, and he was doing very badly. He thought Mormons were after him. I know it seems silly, this word, Mormons. But he said Mormons were after him. The Mormon tradition, I guess, they've infiltrated his family and his friends, and they hide behind bushes, and they seek him everywhere he goes. And it's a terrible place to be within your soul. Surely, what a great place of dissonance and suffering to believe these things are constantly a reality. But it's also a very beautiful mentality to see that peace is actually perfect. You're within reality. And so we can work with it not in a way of looking at it as a dissonance or a wrongness, but actually seeing that there's some kind of thing in which we can do here to benefit this, that there's a way in which to be of service, and it can be quite effortless, really. We don't have to go out of our way, forcing anything, manipulating, trying to create the world in which way we believe it should be. Instead, we can move together in our frequencies of harmony and unity, if we can really see what kind of thing is there presently. Do they just need a listener? Do they need somebody to not listen? What do they need? We can find out. Maybe every time we go to find out, we get turned away and nothing really great comes about. That seemed to be the case for me until today, really. I mean, I've seen some really amazing things recently, and we moved through some really powerful places, but this was the first time that somebody in that kind of a mind was really able to align with the wisdom that was coming to be brought and refined, to be dropped to the time, to be rhymed, no longer crying the chime of these weird amazing signs. I don't know. For some reason we're stuck on a rhyme, a little riddle, puzzle, riddle, I don't know. Anyway, so this man came and I needed something. And it was hard for me, but all of those different hardnesses and agitations and frequencies were accepted and moved with and expressed through and expressed authentically. This brought an honesty, a realness, and trueness that was able to be seen by this being. Maybe all the other things of illusory reality were unable to be seen, but it could see this truth, it could see realness. It was still having trouble with the rebuttaling of these other stories and frequencies, and that's the reason we had to tell this thing exactly what was happening with those things. And so we told him what was happening. And it continued to say more, and continued to say more. And what was that more? That more was a thought process that was needing to happen in order to move it into a place of true resonance with its heart's frequency. And so that was really amazing. Sometimes people look at me and judge me in such hard-shaped ways. I have to look at them and say things strongly in order to move their energy through me. That's why I'm tired of being around people, really. Just tired of transmuting and healing all these judgmental fucking energies. That's how I feel all the time, at least. It's like always moving through me. I have to feel the actual feeling, chord shape of the whole energy of it. Like, okay, well, there we go. There's that energy. All right, next one. Well, there's that energy. I guess as I continue to do it, I become more trusting and well-sustained, knowing that it's no problem and that I'm completely safe in expressing these things because they're just coming up spontaneously in the wisdom of non-action. And they're not an attack or defense. They're just simply being authentic and what is really here now, and what's really here now was judgment in the way that made me say the word fucking in order to allow an amplitory frequency to move through me quite effortlessly. And had I decided not to say that, it would stick with me and I'd have to move it out of some other more subtle way, maybe through meditation, shaking, fucking, whatever it is I do. But as it turns out, it's just much easier to express truth. Quite effortless, really. Much more smooth. So I'm happy to be able to do this, really. I just really would rather not be around people, though. I get really tired of them. I'm kind of just really super tired of them and their crazy, dense frequencies all the time. Like right now, I could rise so high that they couldn't take it because they're deciding to live in an illusory reality that's built on slavery and selfishness. Well, that's okay, not a big deal. It's also the most utter perfection to ever exist. So there's really just no reason to judge and control it, try to stop it or change it. Unconditional love for everything will lead the way on that thing. It's just real difficult, you know. You walk around with a backpack, you have people think that they're better than you, walk by you all day, and it's just the most amazing thing. It's like, wow, how phenomenal. All these people think they're better than me. As I rest in the center of the frequency for the benefit of all beings, unconditional love for all of reality, here I am, transmuting everything through effortlessly, vulnerably expressing myself exactly as the moment wishes me. That's why it's so wonderful to see, you know, all the amazing angel numbers and things guiding me, all the amazing ways in which certain cycles with certain people come into great fruitions, because it does, in a way, prove the frequency and the ability to really rest within the center of it and allow its guidance to flow through. That trust can really guide the entirety of the channel, and that we have no reason not to. That person looks like they're going to do this, they're going to do that. It doesn't matter. You just express authentic, express loud, express soft, express whichever way in which you wish to express. Be yourself free. It's amazing to me, all the different judgments and all the different things in which people can think, because I can see them clearly. It's like, oh, you're thinking that, are you? Oh, you think we're like this, do you? Oh, you've seen this before, have you? What do you think's happening? I don't know. It's kind of why I like smoking. People think judgment is something that I'm joking about. Judgment is the worst fucking possible thing on the planet to this day, judgment. It's causing all the most amazing dissonances, the thoughts of impurity or purity, all the different preferences and focus. It is the most limiting thing ever. The only binding frequency. Free yourself, your judgment, you free yourself, your everything. And then you might find, you know, cosmic backlash. Only you judging something to be right or wrong would cause you to move too quickly, you know. Otherwise, you'd move nice and soft, present in the moment, patient as ever, not even waiting on anything, no need for patience anymore. It's a wonderful place to be, sitting in the center of